Hey, Sadi and Jose. Okay, welcome to chapter 12. This is literally your last chapter in this book. So after the next packet, you're only going to have like one more lesson in this, and then we're going to do something else. So I know that you did this lesson during fourth partial of last year, and so some of it's going to be review, and then hopefully some of it is going to be where you're like, oh, now that makes sense, now that you're teaching it to us through a video and not just hoping that we understand it, right? Fourth partial was fail, you guys. So this is a really important lesson because like I said before to you guys during fourth partial, the reason why I jumped to make everyone do this together is because it's really good information for wherever you are in life, whatever you go to study in the university. It would be super cool to see you guys start your own businesses. You know, maybe that's something that God puts in your heart. You know, both of you have aspirations to do jobs, to do careers that you could go out on your own and do them. You could be an entrepreneur. You know, you don't even have to, nowadays, you don't even have to have a specific building. You know, like we said, brick and mortar, a building there to have your own business. You know, like, oh, I had to rent a place, et cetera, et cetera. No, now you could do graphic design and stuff like that from your own home, and people could contratar you for that. Architecture as well. So there's different openings, there's different doors that you can go through once you become an expert in what God has called you to do. And so I do want you guys to realize that starting a business is not hard, and that it's just a matter of being responsible, having integrity, and working hard, right? So section 1, look, I'm probably gonna stop like 50 times today because this heat, man, makes you not be able to think, okay? But section 1, 12.1 is just beginning a small business, what it entails. So honestly, the math is easy, and you can read this yourself, and you already have once before, but I do want you to kind of hear it from me as well. If there's any comments that I can add to help you understand it a little bit better, and then you are getting something more than just, yes, you added and subtracted, right? So look what it says. Over the past 2 decades, small businesses have created most new jobs. In fact, from 1980 to 1990, small businesses created over 13 million jobs, while big businesses eliminated over 3 million. It is likely that at some time in your life, you will either be employed by a small business or become an entrepreneur, which means you begin your own business. Although small businesses are difficult to define, they are often described as having fewer than 100 employees. In 1947, the Committee for Economic Development listed 4 characteristics of them. A business must have at least 2 of these characteristics to be considered small. Management of the firm is independent. Usually the managers are also the owners. So that's number 1. Number 2, capital is supplied and the ownership is held by an individual or a small group. Capital is your money, okay? So it's a small group. It's not a huge corporation where there's a bunch of investors, like people that have your stocks, right? It's owned by a small group or one person. Number 3, the area of operation is mainly local, with the workers and owners living in one home community. However, the market need not be local, okay? So meaning that your home base is local. Either it's one building or in the same town. You could send your product all over the world, but the base is just one spot. And number 4, the relative size of the firm within its industry must be small when compared with the biggest units in its field. This measure can be in terms of sales volume, number of employees, or other significant comparisons, okay? So when it's compared to other people in the same campo, in the same product line or whatever that it is, you're considered small, okay? Entrepreneurs begin almost 600,000 new businesses each year. See, look, people do it all the time. You can do it too, okay? Starting a new business is certainly a risk, since only 50% of those businesses will still be operating 5 years after the startup date. The demands of a new business mean the entrepreneur must have a high energy level and be persistent, resourceful, flexible, creative, and independent, okay? I think it'd be cool to start a small business, but 1, what am I gonna do? I love teaching. You can't start a business without. 2, I don't have the personality of trying to, I don't know. like I have initiative and stuff like that, but like creativity that you guys have, like you, Sadi Aurora, right? I don't have that kind of creativity. I don't work Nikido like Jose does. So I don't know necessarily that I would be somebody that wants to start my own business unless I had somebody else as like a partner that I was like-minded with and that I felt comfortable doing it with, right? So maybe Brian has a personality and then we could do one together one day. Okay, it says he must have knowledge of management and experience in the field of the proposed small business. Okay, so you have to know about the business and you have to know about that specific thing that you want to do. You can't just start a business about something you don't know well. Another major prerequisite is having the capital. That's the money to start out, right? To begin the business. To decide how much money is needed, prepare a worksheet which lists all the potential income and planned expenses. Estimate future sales volumes to find potential income. The estimation can be made with assistance from wholesalers, other small businesses, a banker, and informative books. So guys, look, you have to do your research beforehand, you know, about the location you're going to be in, about all the expenses to start it up, and how long it's going to take for you to get that money back. People take out small business loans. That's fine to take out a prestamo to start a business, but you have to have a plan about how you're going to get that money back and pay for the loan as quickly as possible. Planned expenses include fees and licenses, rent or mortgage payments for a building, payments for needed equipment, supplies, utilities, and payment of wages to any employees, including yourself as the owner. Okay? So don't forget that if you're the owner and also the manager, you need to pay yourself. Okay? And that has to be part of it. Guys, you might have to get a license. You might have to get a permit, which means permiso, to operate. You have to averiguar everything. And then you have to list it out in a budget so you know what you are doing. Doesn't mean that you're still going to have success. You got to be careful. And it is a risk, but it might be a risk worth taking, right? It says 2 types of capital are used to start a business: owner capital and creditor capital. To begin on a solid basis, underline this. 2/3 of the capital used to begin should be owner capital. Okay, owner capital is the capital that you already have, the money that you already have to invest in the company. Creditor capital is what you're going to borrow in order to get the company up and running. So 2/3 of it should be your own money so that you have that flexibility to, yes, what if the business takes a little while to start gaining money? Okay, that's fine because it was my money, it wasn't a loan. But 1/3 of it, 30% of it could be a loan, okay? According to the standard business ratio, $1 profit to $20 sales, an owner usually earns 5% on sales after all expenses are paid. If you expect to earn a salary of $20,000 annually as the owner, your business must have a minimum of $4,000 in annual sales. Ooh, okay, so for the very first year, are you going to make a lot of money as the business owner? That'd be a negative, chief, right? Look what it says. The following table lists some initial expenses to start a new business and monthly expenses necessary to keep the business operating. And guys, this is important because it's good. You could Google this information too and say, okay, what does it take to start a new business these days so you know your presupuesto? So expenses to begin could be fixtures and equipment, like whatever machines you're using and different things like that. Installation of the fixtures and equipment, beginning inventory, license and permits, public utilities deposits like your water, your electricity, etc. Legal and professional fees, cash on hand, and other things. Monthly expenses are going to be your employees' salaries, rent or mortgage payment, supplies, advertising, insurance, taxes, maintenance, and other things. Okay? So, model problem, it says, Fred Murray plans to open a jewelry store and needs $25,000 in capital to begin the business. He personally has $18,000 and will borrow the remainder from relatives. How much must he borrow from the relatives? Well, that part's really easy. Just subtract. He's going to borrow $7,000. Okay, he has 18, which is a great place to start. A great place to start. Okay, he has to borrow 17. So look what it says. What percent of the needed capital is owner capital? Well, he had 18, he needed 25, so it's just 18,000 over 25,000. That's 72% he had to invest. So he doesn't have to take out a big loan from anybody. He's starting out well since the minimum is 2/3, which is 66%. Okay? So what it says, find what percent the owner capital is or the capital needed. So that's just owner capital over needed capital. That's the equation there. Remember to find percentages. So your answer on number 1 should be 75%. Number 2, find 5% net profit on the following sales, okay? 5% net profit on the following sales. So all you're doing is taking 5% of each of these. So number 5 should be 25,000. If you guys have any questions, I'm here to help you. I really do want you to understand this stuff to start a small business one day or help somebody else too, because you know the math side of it. Okay, bye, have a good day.